They get it. Oh, it's perfect time too. It's right, little after the 10 mark too, man. But hey, like I said, that was sitting on my head today. I knew who to call on that one. I was like, you know what? Bet we supposed to did this anyway, so it's perfect. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But
yeah.
y'all know what time it is. It is 10 something something. And if you watch my PSA earlier, I told you we were gonna be starting a little late tonight. So it is 10:08 Tuesday night with your host, the two-time ATL's hottest DJ, the God DJ Agony, also known as Dr. Dope. Well, our motto is simple: on the building. And you are tuned in to this week's Quick 30 with me, DJ Agony, and this brother to my left needs no introduction. Like I said, I can't even call him a friend of the show no more. Like he's not even a guest at this point. If he comes over and say, "Hey, Agony, I want something to drink," I'm at the point now where I can say, "You know what a cup's at."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know what a
We,
cup's at.
we
But
yeah.
for the people who have been living under a rock for the past 7 years, let these people know who you are and what you do, sir.
All right. Of course, you know me. I'm Larry Hodges, aka Larry Boy, aka host of Beer in the Conversation, aka Kid Dynamite. So I'm amped. It's always a pleasure to be on your show, man. I thank you so much, man. Really, really, you have no idea, man. We've been doing this, man. We've been down like four flats, man. We're both on the east side. We're both mature young men, if you could say it that way, right? So
Facts.
let's do it. Let's do this thing. Let's get into it.
All right, and boom, that should be done right there.
Okay.
Uh, boom, there it go. All right, so now you're officially tagged, sir. So the good people out there in Facebook, y'all can see this from Larry's page as well.
Good. Do I
So
need to go? Okay. All right. I'll just go and show it later. But yeah, let's go for it. Let's
no, I
fire it
just
up real quick.
I about to say yeah, I just tagged you in it, so it should be we should be good on that. Should be good on that. But my biggest thing was, with today being the last day of the observed Black History Month, I just feel like we really didn't do some spring cleaning on ourselves,
Yeah.
and on people that look like us because I'm it's one of those things where in 2008 I got knowledge of myself and I realized who I was as a black man on this planet and what I'm saying, who I was and who I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I realized and I learned in that time, who I am in a relation to who God is.
That's right.
So I'm not against anybody getting some and there's been a big rise in what I'm saying in a level of consciousness in these last roughly what you say 5-10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm all to applaud that. And it's not the conscious community that I have a problem with. It's the new woke. New woke I have a problem with. New woke read the table of contents, read the back page, and felt like they knew what consciousness was. And so they're going off on these wild, esoteric kind of ventures, what I'm saying, praying to rocks and hoping to see stars. And it's just like, what does that do for our plight as black people in this wilderness that we call North America, which is ruled by white supremacy? What does that do? What does praying to this, what I'm saying, work staring at the stars do for us? Now, yeah, it is one of those things to where we should know the universe around us, absolutely, but know its relevance as well. And when you ask them, what's the first thing they always tell you? Oh man, you got to do the research for yourself. No, because when you come into a level of knowledge yourself, your duty as a civilized person is to teach those who aren't civilized. You become a teacher. It's not a go look it up. Because when you say go look it up, it made me think you don't know what you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? It makes me think you have no clue because you didn't read the whole book. We got Saga Boss in the building. Saga, what up? Skip. You already know we in here causing trouble. My boy Saga Boss, check it in, man. It's always good when familiar faces stop through.
Absolutely, man. Shouts out to Saga Boss. Um,
Absolutely. But
I
where
mean,
my
and
where my
I feel,
problem
I feel like I'm getting married again, except there's a happy ending. You know, I would like to say this. You know, and here's this is the truth, man. First and foremost, I do agree with you with regard to this new woke culture. It's so woke it don't sleep. So it's so because it don't sleep, it don't think, it don't rest. You know what I mean? And so it's I've always been taught that whenever you walk around with a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right?
Mm,
And so that's the first thing. But I think that research is important when it comes to nuances because I find myself in uh like okay, so like we'll break things down, but we can't break everything down. So sometimes I do think that it's important to encourage people to research because we when we're dealing with woke people always are quote unquote woke people are always looking for the exception to the rule, right?
true.
I mean, they dive out of bounds for that shit, man. And so if there's one instance where they'd be like, well, I did have this third cousin that had this problem, and what about that? What do you say about these people? Woke people never look at the 95% of the problem. I mean, they flip, dive, duck, do everything they can do to get to that 5% just so they can dispute your argument. You know what I mean? And we're
Right.
never, I think that all of us have lived long enough to know that the rock and a hard place is the law and then theory. So the law is the rule of thumb, and then there's theory. And oddly enough, the law itself is theoretical because if it wasn't, then you wouldn't need a judge to adjudicate the law to see if it's applied fairly. What is the intent of the law, per se? And was it applied fairly in this particular incident? That's why it comes under judicial review.
Mm,
Because if it was North Korea or somewhere like that, you trespass in 10 years. You don't even think about it. You need to go to court for it. The question is, under these circumstances, was it the right thing to do? So I think that everybody that has a brain understands that theory is gray area, right? And
right.
so to understand that is to understand that there are people who will try to squeeze into those narrow windows. And so that's the problem with the woke. The woke are always focusing on the what ifs or what the fuck ever. And we, as black men, being pragmatic, I think that we're constantly looking at overall per capita, what are we dealing with? What are we up against? And that is the big difference. Now, with this, to your point, with the woke culture, this super woke culture, I said that to a young lady when I was out. This is going to sound very bad, but if we're not having harsh that see, I'm not here to win a popularity contest, and you aren't either. This is going to sound bad. It's going to sound bad, but if it's digested properly, it'll be understood.
Mm-hmm.
The longer somebody spends in school, the worse off they are, because that's more time of indoctrination. And,
Mm,
and so the most incompatible people are some of the most educated people because they just continue to go further and further out on deep end in terms of indoctrination.
right. But not realizing that a lot of the stuff you get in school is based in theory.
Correct.
None of that stuff's been proven 100% to where I mean, anything that's it's like you got gravity, and I mean mathematics most of the time speaks for itself. But when you get into something like philosophy, it can't be proven one way or another. It's only internalized and interpreted.
Correct.
But
Right. Right. Right.
nonetheless, that's a lot of the rhetoric that gets spewed out. Is it fact based? It's all interpreted philosophy that's been chewed by so many different people that you're just regurgitating at that point.
Correct. Correct. And it's not, I mean, most things are, man. I mean, when I hear people talk, I'm like, well, where did you derive that from? Where did you get that from? And so, you're right. I think that most people are just parrots. They just walk around repeating what other people say.
I think the problem with that is though they don't, one of the things when it comes to information is you always question the source of said information. But these people will get on YouTube, and the thing is, anybody can make a video on YouTube. Hell, I'm making videos on YouTube. But anybody
Right.
could make these videos. And so when you get on YouTube and you try to use this as fact based and law, you don't know who this person is.
Correct. Correct. I mean, and not just that, but I mean, like, what is the meaningful gain? I think that if you took most people and you allowed them to kind of operate by whatever the rule of thumb is in society, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because there are societal nomenclatures. If you took most people and you had them do it, they're not really happy. They're robots, man. I mean, you know what I mean? They just don't know. Like, okay, so I heard a guy say that died, that they used to work for me years ago. He died of cancer. He said that chemotherapy and radiation is not the only way to treat cancer. He said it's the only way that they know how to treat cancer.
Mm,
And so that's most of us. Now I can understand. Okay, so you're a Cowboys fan, right? Get it? Hey,
absolutely.
look, I don't hold that against you. I'm a big Micah Parsons fan. All right.
No doubt.
Okay. Um, when did you become a Cowboys fan?
I was 9. And
Okay.
how that played out was that if you're ATL homegrown, so you remember the blackout games to where if the Falcons didn't sell out the stadium, they would show one of three things on TV, y'all. You would either get the Cowboys, the 49
49ers.
the 49ers, or MASH. Now, personally, I still can't sit through an episode of MASH. So that year, I started watching the Cowboys because that was all that was on TV. Who knew that they were going to win the Super Bowl that year? And the next year, and 2 years after that. So I was just like, damn, I picked the winner. I'm gonna run with this team. Then
Okay.
who knew that was the last time they were gonna win a Super Bowl?
Okay. That's cool. Dope. Dope. Okay. All right. So check it out. But you weren't a Cowboys fan because your dad was a Cowboys fan,
My
right?
dad was a my dad's a baseball fan. He don't even watch football.
All right. So a lot of people are Cowboys fans because their fathers are Cowboys fans. A lot of people are 49ers fans because their fathers are 49ers fans. A lot of people Raiders, Steelers. What I'm saying is that most people generationally just follow in the footsteps of what came before them. And so I think that it's important to acknowledge that breaking away from the mold is the beginning of becoming an individual. When you begin to make decisions for yourself about what you like, who you like, what you eat, and it's a little tough, right? You know, because well, maybe my mom was like this, but maybe I failed because I was trying to find my mom. Maybe my folks voted this way. Maybe I failed because of that. I mean, there's just so many different things. I mean, even if we take it to college and all of that, I think that it like becoming an adult is making a decision for yourself. And I think that that's pretty much the crux of, well, I mean, in my opinion, we start talking about woke, right? You know what I mean? And I think that, let's see,
Got another
like,
Cowboys fan in the building. What's good, LL? Check it
yeah,
in.
yeah, good to see you. You know, but so I think that it's important to understand that the beginning of change begins with making a rational decision about what's best for your life. Like we're not cookie cutter. I think that all of us have to look at, and this is my problem with woke culture, because we want to keep it relevant to what you brought up. The problem with woke culture is that it's like the Tower of Babel to a degree,
Mm,
paradoxically, or maybe even a pseudo form. It seeks to continue to build upon the things that we were taught. But the things that we were taught, that if we look at the principles from the beginning of time was to be to thine own self be true, right? I
mm-hmm.
mean, even identical twins have separate fingerprints and dental records.
Facts.
And so to understand that is to understand that every man is unique. And oftentimes we find ourselves in situations where we are clicheing, we are repeating what people have to say. And I don't know if that's a result of not being brave enough to be our own individuals, or if that is a result of we don't have time to think because we're literally hamsters on the wheel
Mm,
who just are working to pay bills. I can't tell you how disappointed I am as a man when I come across black people who can't take time to think because they're like, I need money, I need money, I need money, I need money. You know what I'm saying? And it's killing them and setting them back. I mean, they will never make it. There's just no, I mean, unless they just luck up and hit a home run, they'll never make it.
right. But I mean, then there's luck. And luck is all its own demon into itself. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like this right here though, and with what you're saying is, I agree with that because if it with woke culture, there's so much that they don't want to let go from their previous life that they bring it in with them. Like, I seen a sister not too long back calling herself a goddess on social media, but talking about praise Jesus and paying tithes.
Right,
Like, you have woke people still eating pork.
right,
It's like I can't take anything you're saying serious. But what I was getting into and what where this started was the fact that I look at the brothers, and the brothers is out here taking that pseudo knowledge of self and pimping with it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're really going in on the women, and a lot of these women are hearing something that they've never heard before, and it sounds attractive. It makes it sound good. Like you tell a woman that she's a goddess, she never heard that before. She's gonna run with it.
yes.
You start talking about ancient Kemet and the Maya, and what I'm saying, and I was like all that's new to her, so she's drawn up. Now the dude's whole purpose was just to fuck like anybody else.
Right,
But my issue is when you take this pseudo knowledge of self, this pseudo consciousness, and pimp it just for something for the sake of a screw. I got a problem with that.
well, it's a well known fact that men fall in love with what they see and women fall in love with what they hear. Right? You know,
Okay.
so yeah. But here's the thing. It how sustainable is it? I can tell you all day that any side can say, well, this person makes me feel tingly on the inside, or either side will say that. I have feelings of love on the inside. But I'm going to tell you with women, the very moment that they realize that they have something solid, and hopefully it's not too late before they realize it. I'm going to tell you something. Woman ain't going to give up no man that's looking out for her for a good feeling. She might try to play both of them, but she ain't gonna never give up. So it still boils down to the basics. You still have to produce. There's no word game that a smart woman is gonna say, "Well, shoot, I'm gonna abandon what's looking out for me." You
Well,
know, so
but here's the thing: it's happening, and and not to say that these women aren't smart. It's just I don't think it does. A lot of times to cause a distraction, it takes something flashy. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be something physical, like jewelry, like a diamond. But if I say something that you ain't never heard, that's something flashy right there.
That's true.
and that's gonna draw her off sides.
It may draw her off sides, but will it keep her off sides? Again, it's the sustainability because anything that's that good typically is not by itself. So if it's really a great man, I mean, there's so many things that I could say about that, and I don't want to. I mean, it is just. I mean, yes, yes. So they are. There are a lot of men that are playing word games, and I see it, man. I mean, a good friend of mine called me the other day out there, man, out of town, and she found out that her husband cheated on her, and I didn't know what to say other than you came across a survivor, right? Like, and so survivors are just different people. They'll do and they'll say anything. Dame Dash said a long time ago, stay away from people who live in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so there was even a saying I saw that said people who were raised in love should
Yeah, who
not be around people who are raised on
raised on
survival.
survival. They said the person raised off love will do anything for you, and the person raised off survival will do anything for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But it is a necessary evil. It's just like a vaccine. It is an inoculation against the real thing, and so I'm
The
and
vaccine.
it is. I mean, it's like you gotta get hit a little bit so that you can know what it looks like when you see it again.
Mm.
So hurt is necessary, and everybody's gonna experience that. So, I mean, yes, there are a lot of brothers that are saying goddess and queen and this, that, and the other. I shouldn't have to tell you all of these things because the way I treat you, you should already know I treat you like that. And the same thing. Imagine if me and you, with the intelligence that we have, walked around with shirts that said I went to college or that I'm let's not even take it there. That I'm educated. I mean, what I'm saying is that by the time you have a conversation with either one of us, you probably can deduce that we have education, right?
Right,
You know what I mean? I don't
right.
think that you have to wear that. Oh, but they do it, man. And I mean, I see these niggas a mile away, especially the niggas from up north, man. They some of the worst niggas, man. They are this. That's it. You know what I mean? I've seen them do it, man, and so what predators do, whether it's like what do you call those people who are pedophiles,
Pedophiles, yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
I've heard scenarios where there's two kids and one kid is one way and one kid is the other way, and they have molested the one kid because the pedophile can pick the come here, baby. The pedophile can figure out that the pedophile can figure out which kid they can, which kid is the weaker kid.
Right.
And so I'm saying is like these niggas do that shit with bitches, man. They'll go out there, man, and they will literally go after some who might be a little more heavier or whatever, overweight, insecure, whatever it is, and they will. I'm telling you what I've been seeing. They're like, okay, I can run her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They
Mm-hmm.
go for the low hanging fruit,
Oh yeah.
and a
Current
lot of
travels down the
times,
path of least resistance.
yeah, but you know what happens because a lot of men aren't confident in themselves and they go after women who ain't quote unquote the at the top of the vine. It actually has an inverse effect in the women who sit at the top of the vine feel like nobody wants them. So in all honesty, it's actually easier to get the better looking women than it is. This is crazy. Most people won't get this. You got a better shot because some of the top women don't understand why ain't nobody picking them, and it's because niggas are so weak that they're intimidated by them. So
Hmm.
actually, it's less people shooting their shots at them. You got a better chance for her.
Facts. But and the thing is, she seems so inaccessible. Truthfully, you don't even know. that you can shoot your shot and actually win.
Win big.
Yeah. Because she's sitting so high on the vine, you in your head already psyched yourself out thinking that she was inaccessible.
And most men have.
Yep.
And so yeah, it's a lot of dudes. I see what they're doing. I mean, I see it out here. I feel so bad, and the audacity of some of them. And again, I mean, like when I talked to my sister the other day, me and her had a good talk, and she said to me, she was like, "Larry, you are not being fair with this whole passport thing, like we talked about the other week, last week.
Hmm.
But it ain't me that's talking about. I'm saying everybody talking about it. I
Oh,
am just,
that powder keg is ready to blow because
yeah,
it's coming out of all different angles now.
it is, and they don't understand it, and they're coming at us. It's not us coming at them. But what I'm saying is that she said, "Larry, you're not being fair. You're thing off on women." I said, "I'm not putting everything. I'm not blaming women for everything." But it's the same thing with men. At some point, how long are women going to accept, well, I didn't have my daddy. I'm 45 and I can't treat you good because I didn't have my daddy. How fucking long is that shit gonna hold up for anybody? I didn't have my daddy, so I can't treat you good.
but
Yes, yes, yes.
but
I know that may have put you behind the curve, but come on, man.
and it's one of those things. It's like they're gonna carry that as long as they're allowed to carry it.
Right, and I understood what the sister was saying. She's like, well, men and women both. She's like, men and women both, same thing. They didn't have their fathers. But I mean, how old are we talking about? Are we talking about a 22-year-old or are we talking about a 42-year-old?
That's what I'm saying.
I
At some
mean, like,
at some point, when do you make that adjustment? But you know what ends up happening? It's that because she couldn't find her dad, and because that masculine energy of how it's supposed to look wasn't there, woke nigga gonna have a free reign on her. The woke
yeah.
dude's gonna have a field day with her because there's that part that's missing that he knows that hey, I could come up to her and say da 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 da, and and the thing is he's gonna get over it. He's gonna get
Oh,
over it.
yeah.
And even not even necessarily woke guy, but just the dudes that's out there pandering, and posturing. You know what I'm saying? Like we said earlier off air. They're not wearing capes no more. They're wearing dashikis now, but they're still doing the same thing. And they're oh well, the woman is right on everything she says because she said it.
Nobody is right on not you, not I. Nobody is right on
Man,
everything that they
all thing
say.
you got to do is watch the videos. That's what's that's what he at with it. And Derek Jackson wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only
Well,
one.
and you know what? Like I love the sisters who follow me, respect me, and got love for me. For what I do because I think that to a degree they know genuineness. And I look, I make mistakes. I say things that I hope I don't offend people. Sometimes it does. I don't. You know what? Actually, I don't mind offending the people who I want to offend, but I don't want the people who I don't want offended to be offended.
To be
If
offended.
that makes sense.
I totally get that.
So that I don't like. You know what I mean? I don't want people, but you know what though? But it seems real. Me and my girl, we have issues from time to time, and you know what? As much as sometimes I get frustrated, I like it because that means she's a real person.
Well, yeah,
Like, that makes it a real relationship when you have to work through things.
yeah. I
If
mean,
it,
it's not like coming to America where her job from birth was just to serve and please you.
and it's normal. Having problems is normal. So anybody that comes off like they're just perfect and they don't do anything wrong, or you don't do anything wrong, you gotta watch a motherfucker like that.
You should. But I
Yeah.
don't I know they aren't because these dudes aren't being drawn up and held accountable.
Right. You, you know what? You're right. You're right
They're
about that.
they're not. Nobody's calling them out and be like, "Hey, man, quit all that goddamn lame ass shit you on, bro." They amening and high fiving, and they always like to end all their things with like, "Well, don't argue, don't debate me." Da, da, da. I'm like, nigga, I wouldn't debate you because nothing's gonna come out of it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, nigga, you wrong as a $3 bill, and I could tell by how you think you was the type of dude that didn't get ass coming up, and it
Exactly.
and it hit you one particular day, and you was like, man, I'm to the point now where I'll do whatever it take to get some ad. I'll sell me and I'll lie, I'll throw money at the situation, whatever. And this is like, there was dudes out there way back when who learned the verbal intercourse and the finesse game that they ain't have to do all that. But
You
then
did
it's
not.
but then it's these new pseudo woke dudes. That's their whole MO.
Well, all you actually really have to do is just be yourself. And so God made everybody unique. I remember again. I have to reiterate when David was about to fight Goliath. Saul said to him, "Take my armor," and then David said, "Your armor will just weigh me down." Everybody has a lane that they run in that's perfect for them, that's uniquely set up for them. Just be yourself. It's a lot of people that don't like what I say. It's a lot of people that don't like what you say. But we're not wanting for love. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I mean like it's people that love us, that care about us, that respect us. There's some people that don't, but at the same time, there's some people that do. So um, I think that the problem with nobody will ever be happy until they're being themselves and walking in their truth. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
I
So,
think what the problem with that is I don't think these people know themselves.
well, okay. So, do they know them? Not know themselves because they deliberately don't want to, or they don't like themselves, or is it because they're the hamster on the wheel? So then we go back to that. Do they even not have enough time to learn themselves?
I think what it is that the themself part, the real self, didn't work out too good for them. So this they put on this mask, they put on this face. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
So goddamn Darnell Johnson. I'm trying to come up with an arbitrary name so I don't call out a real person. But old Darrell Johnson now wants to be Mustafa Akbar X Khalid the fifth.
right.
Right. So he puts on that every day with the beads, with the ankh, with the dashiki, you know what I'm saying, with the headband, and then he jumps to straight to the internet and it's just like, I'm here for the queens and the sisters and the goddesses, and you know what I'm saying, men should do this and men should do that. Now, yes, I'm not sitting here to say that things that all things that men do are perfect. I never say that. I never tell that lie. But what I'm saying is that so your whole platform is to come out here pseudo woke and not try to uplift the man, but more so push the man to the point to where it looks like you're pandering to the women. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like, yeah, men shouldn't do that because I don't do that. Look how perfect I am. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels. That's what it comes off to me as a lot of times. And little do you know that, Darrell Johnson don't take care of his kids. I ain't seen a couple of them in years. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
He's a regular ass dude. He trying to teach you about working and creating a business to create this mass empire and possibly getting into crypto and Bitcoin. But this nigga works at the register at the gas station. He's
Correct.
he's stocking that Food Depot, but it's like you eventually in my head, and as the law of nature should say, like, you can only keep that front up for so long. But I think these dudes have found a glitch in that, and they're living that front. That front becomes life after a while, to the point to
Yeah.
where they don't even know who Darrell Johnson is anymore.
Well, listen. You're right, but they are still having to find parasites. Always have to find multiple hosts.
That fine host. Facts.
And so yeah, they can put up a front. Niggas can put up a front, but you can't front but for so long. And I mean, you can front forever with multiple people, but you can't front for long with one person because at some point, especially not if you're a man, because women smart, man. Women smart. I don't give a damn what you say. They smart. They instinctual, and they can pick up. They can ascertain very quickly when you're not who you say you are. And I mean that in the sense of take it from me. I have, and everybody does in life. It's not just me. Michael Jackson filed bankrupt. Let me tell you something. Everybody has highs and lows.
Facts.
So woman can tell when you're on a high and when you're on a low. Just be straight up with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But no, niggas is lying out here. But the problem is they making it bad for everybody else, and that's fine. But I think that as much as I love women to death, I think they need instruction. And um, what I have seen in my life is that many women. This is my personal life. This is Larry's talking about. Just about every woman. I mean, when I'm saying just about every, I'm saying 99% of women I dealt with in my life that left or we split were willing to come back and try it again. And I'm not the nicest guy, but I'm an honest guy. You know what I
Huh?
mean? And so,
There's that.
yeah, it was like, well,
There's
shit. At least there's no miss. At least I know what I'm dealing with when I deal with the motherfucker, man. But yeah,
that. So my last point, and this was just to bring it all home. So I saw a post today about this porn star. I can't remember her name, and I couldn't find the original article. And the one that I saw, it was the article was cut. But this particular porn star, who to her credit, to her film credit, has over 100 movies, and out of those 100 something movies, 25 of them were group movies. Right.
okay, okay,
So now she's claiming that she found the Lord and she's saved, and that she's now married. So the particular said individual that posted this, once again, another woke pandering motherfucker, is talking about, oh, well, these dudes is out there with this double standard and they don't want a woman who been through this, and this. So he sets it up. He almost sets it up as if it's a what would you do type situation, but then at the same time injects himself into it. And it's just like, yeah, so these men want this perfect woman who what I'm saying, got low body count, this, that, and the third, but they haven't been out there living group life. They was community dick at one time, blah, 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 words. And so I look at the post, and it's a handful of people commenting, but it's all women. They're all amen at him, like, yeah, me and B ran through too. It's a double standard. It's not fair. We all done did so. We all done went through a phase in life, blah, blah, blah. But I'm sitting up there and I'm reading this, and I'm reading this, and I'm reading this, and I'm reading this, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, so the fuck what? This lady still has a fucking body count well through the triple digits. Now, if there are normal women out there like that, possibly, but we know this motherfucker does because she's documented on tape. She's got videos. We can look her up and see her work. You see what I'm saying? It's one of those things to where I don't I can't say I don't get his mentality. I know what he's doing. He's is once again it's more pandering and posturing. But my gripe with that is like that I'm not I'd rather not know about your whole shit, because at the same time I don't see where it's just, oh, you were young, you were trying things. I don't think like that. I'm not geared like that. I'm not wired like that. The
yeah,
less I know, the better. This is one of those times where ignorance is bliss. But to say that there's a double standard and men shouldn't care about shit like that. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this dude on?
Right, right, right. Well, there's gonna always be some simping. When you start talking about a porn star, that's serious. I mean, like that's serious, serious. I mean, what I'll say, in my opinion, is this. And yeah, that nigga simping. That nigga simping hard.
With an unk though.
Um,
Gotta wear the
yeah,
unk.
yeah. I mean, because even a man himself that's had a lot of sex don't have sex with that many women. I'm sorry. That's not normal. You know what I mean? Because there's enough drama that's going to come with you dealing with two or three women at the same time. That's going to slow you down enough and keep you in so much grief to where you can't even operate. But what what women have to understand about men when it comes to stuff like that is that um, if I go to the car lot, right, and I go get a Range Rover, I go get an Escalade, or I go get a Ferrari or whatever, when I go to get something, I'm going to get something that everybody else can't have.
There you go.
That's what makes what I go get valuable. It's because
Mhm.
everybody can't get it. So
And to add this in, everybody ain't had it.
everybody ain't had it. Some people can't get it and they ain't had it and they never will get it. So that's what gives man pride. Man does take pride in it. But Bobby, I mean, Agony, I mean, you and I both have probably had fun in our lives. Uh, Are either one of us married?
Nah.
Okay, all right. So what did it lead to? I have a girlfriend, but what I'm saying is that, and I have been married. You know
Right.
that.
Right.
You know,
I was there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm saying that to say, what did it all mean? I mean, oh man, I got some vagina. You know, um, when you were younger, man, that was something. But man, it's probably I've had more not great sex that was attached to big problems than I have had great sex that have benefited me. How about that?
We're gonna go back through that one in a second. I got Miss Parker in the building. What's up with you? I read somewhere that men are concerned with a woman's past, women are concerned with the present. Hmm.
Again, I wouldn't want to know if she's got a body count that high. I wouldn't want to know.
I don't
I
want to
wouldn't
know.
want to know. I mean, yeah, because if I know, then my mind is gonna be like, "Whoa, like, okay, how did that happen?" And I've told women before on my show when I said I've said it on the show. I said if a man asks you how many men you've been with, don't answer
I'm gonna be honest with you. If a man answer that, he a damn fool. Do not ask that question. Do not, because Chris Rock told this joke once, and I'm gonna get into the Chris Rock joke in a second. But y'all see that name right there? That's Miss Parker right there. Be on the lookout for that name because it's gonna start ringing bells in a minute. Oh, and by the way, she is the host. I mean, she is the guest this week, Thursday, dope show. She'll be here, right here, that side of the screen, this Thursday at 8. So, like I said, be on the lookout for that sister. Yo, she finna be making some noise in a minute. Um, but Chris Rock told a joke way back when, and he said you never want to know because the number will never be good enough.
it.
And he
Even if
made
it,
and he made the joke that said two. I guess that's just how you was raised. Two.
yeah, I mean, even one. If a woman says she's been with one man, and she was with him, and she talks about how bad the relationship is, a nigga in his mind will say, "Well, damn. So he did all this, that, and other. You stayed with him. Why? Was the sex that good?" I don't think that men should ask that question, and I think a woman is a fool if she answers that question, she should always say,
I can't tell
"Look,
you who the bigger
bro,
fool is, the one that asks or the one that answers.
a woman should never." That's a trick question. There is no right answer. She cannot win that because you don't. What you don't want, you don't want a man wondering. And of course, I mean, hey, if you're well endowed, then that's great, and that's not everybody. But I mean, I can't talk about myself. You know what I mean? But what I'll say is that you might be like, damn, does she really enjoy the sex? Do I have a little dick? There's a lot of things. Don't want to? Those are conversations that I don't think should be
That's what I'm saying.
had.
I don't like it goes back to the chicken and the egg. I don't know who's the bigger fool, the one that asks or the one that answers. Because there's no wins in that. If you ask that question, what do you think your win is gonna come from? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We are deep in our, you know what I'm saying? We are deep in our 30s, touching 40. There is no there. She's not gonna say zero. The answer is not gonna be zero. The answer is not gonna be one. And God forbid if she got kids, different baby daddies, like that's it did like you're not gonna get a win in that question. Don't ask.
Well, and that was a nice compliment. I'm over 40. Thank you. But yes, we'll say deep 30s
Right.
for the conversation. But I think that again, yeah, I would never, huh? No, yeah, we're about to wrap it up, baby. Yeah, I got my boss, I'm my girlfriend. But no, I will say this though, man. I mean, I think that to your point, I mean, yeah, I think that you should never ask that. I mean, why would you want to live in peril like that? I always believe this. I can't change what happened before me. Now, if something goes on, if I'm dealing with you from that point on, then I already know what to do.
Right.
I know how to handle that.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? But with regard to the past is the past. And I think that the good thing is that the United States and the world is so big that, and women do it, and sometimes men do it too. You can just travel and you can start all over again. Isn't that wonderful? And nobody knows you. It's not your town or whatever.
Yeah,
I
the
just,
problem is, you know what happens when they decide to leave their town and start over? They come to Atlanta.
they do. Yeah, and
They
then the
come right
traffic gets
here.
more. Yeah, they come to Black Hollywood here in Atlanta.
Right here.
Yeah. But yes, sir. I mean, but yeah, I mean, caping and caping, capping, and caking, like they used to call it back when we was in high school. Caking,
Caking. Yeah.
caking, capping,
Hey, caping.
and caping. I think that it's there. It's the only, but it's not. But it's like anything else. I mean, anything that's built without a solid foundation. I think that they don't realize what they have done, the men have done to the community because I have to admit, Agony, and I will say this, and I have been very, very hard on black women. I've been extremely hard. And as I have talked to a lot of black women who have confided in me, I'm not saying that my opinion has changed, but what I'm saying is that I understand a little bit better because
Mm,
I think that the topic that you brought tonight speaks to the point that they are being lied to at such a rate that they don't know who's who or what's what.
mm.
You know what I mean? They really, really don't. They don't know, and I hate that. And so now my issue is with the men. My issue is with the men. You know,
Uh-oh. Like we lost Hodges for a second. Hold on. I hope his phone didn't die. But it did just go straight to black. That's crazy. Damn. That's a device not connected. Well, all right. We'll see if he comes back in the next couple of minutes. But yo, I appreciate everybody that came out, you know what I'm saying, to the quick 30 this week that's turned into about a 50-minute conversation. But when I get on here, I got Hodges with me. We gonna kick good shit. Like I alluded to earlier, go ahead and bring the name back up. Bam. Y'all see that name right there? That's Miss Parker. Y'all pay attention to that name. One, because she'll be here this Thursday, 8 o'clock on the Dope Show. And she got an announcement to make, but I ain't gonna say it. It's her announcement to make. But she's making it right here on the Dope Show. Also, yo, come through for the 2 year anniversary. Dope turns two this Thursday. Make sure y'all are in the building. Y'all never know what kind of surprises I might pull out, if any. I don't probably have it. Who the hell knows? It's gonna be so surprising. I don't even know. But nonetheless, Dope turns two this Thursday. I got Miss Parker coming through the building. I got Hodges coming back through. Boom, there he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to. I've got somebody who just wants to be a bitch ass motherfucker that doesn't want to reveal who they are, and they want to keep calling me, and they're calling me while I'm doing this with you. Um, but I do want to say this. I think in accordance with what we were saying, I don't. It's not that I blame them. I think that the problem is that if they're genuinely interested in results, and that's why I want you to come to the symposium in a couple of weeks, Agony.
let me know. I am definitely there.
Yeah, if they genuinely want results, then let's talk about it. But here's what I'm not going to tolerate from anybody. I'm not going to tolerate anybody that can be vocal about what they don't like, but can't be vocal about let's communicate about what I do like, or what I'm appreciative for, or how we can fix it. If
Mm,
if it, if the mindset is that you just need to do better, we're not gonna get anywhere.
that's because that's telling me nothing.
And I'm gonna go, but go ahead. I'm gonna give you your final thought, and then I gotta go.
No doubt, no doubt. Yo, I got Uncle Lou in the building. What up, Unc? Got the whole Austin family checking in tonight, man. But yo, I appreciate you coming through. I just like I said, I mean, when we do this, we does this. You know what I'm saying? And it's always one of those things to where when you come through, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Similar minds, but in different perspectives. But yeah, we hold it down nonetheless as a partnership, as a pair, and I'm always appreciative what you come through, man. Let these people know where they can find you, what you got coming up. Let them know about the beer in the conversation. Uh-huh.
Beer conversation. Thursday nights, 8 to 9. Also, beer in a conversation one on Instagram. Larry's Hodges Facebook. Larry's Hodges TikTok. Larry's Hodges YouTube. Um, man, we got a lot of things we're gonna do. The symposium's gonna be huge, man, and I'm gonna call you in a little while. But I
All right.
appreciate you too, Agony. Thank you, man, for having me a part.
No doubt, no doubt. And like I was saying earlier, y'all, Thursday will be the 2 year anniversary of the Dope Show. So y'all definitely come through and check that out. I got the sister Miss Parker coming through, and like I said, she got an announcement. Plus, this is a very intelligent and opinionated sister. But if nothing else, she's a lot of fun. Like I said, I enjoy her. Y'all gonna enjoy her come this Thursday. So she's gonna be right there on that side of the screen come Thursday. Y'all definitely check her out. The flyer will probably be out there. If not tonight, then definitely in the morning. You can find me Dope Enterprise on Facebook, Dope Enterprise on YouTube, Dope Dot Enterprise on Instagram. Like, follow, comment, but most importantly, the biggest thing that I stress to y'all, make sure you hit that button in that bottom corner that says share. Share and tell all your people about me. Uncle Lou, you know what time it is with that. What he said? Red cup. Yes, sir. We're gonna keep those on deck. You know what I'm saying? Big shouts out to Uncle Lou. Big shouts out to my LL. Big shout out to Saga Boss, Miss Parker. Thank y'all for coming through. Um, Tracy Etheridge. Appreciate you for coming through, stopping in, kicking good shit with me. I end this show like I end all my shows. Imitation is the sincere form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. I am DJ Agony. That is Laris Hodges. Beer in the conversation. The number one passport, bro. And we are out. Peace.
Peace.